Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Dave Sharp. Welcome to the very first episode of the Legendary Entrepreneur Show, guys. This has been a passion project in the making because over the course of the last, 3 or 4 months, I've known that I've wanted to do a podcast because I want to be in your ear. I want to be in your ear when you're driving. I want to share and teach and give you the experiences that I've had over the course of the last many years that have made me wealthy in some respects, and also some of the mistakes that I've made that have cost me a lot of money. And my plan really is to share these with you in a way that's completely transparent and that gives you sort of this really authentic look behind the scenes of the journey of a real raw entrepreneur, like the real road, not this fluffed up, hyped up, unrealistic picture painted about that you can get rich overnight and that, things happen, within minutes of you signing up or buying something. There's some magic pill that you can take to be able to create success instantly, but what the real journey looks like. I did not know even what the word entrepreneur meant. When I was young, I just know that I didn't fit in. I went to school. I knew there was rules that society had made for me. I knew that the road was essentially already planned out for me to follow, and I just literally had to be a robot and follow the trail. I had to follow the trail that was blazed for me by my teachers and my counselors and the adults that patted me on the head and said, just be a good little boy and just do as you're told. And I said, yes, okay, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. But the entire time, especially even I can remember back to being a child and thinking, man, this just doesn't feel right. I feel like I want to burst out. I had this burning sensation in my belly to sort of break out of the mold that society had made and was planning to make for me for the rest of my life. It was, you're going to go to school, you're going to get good grades, you're going to go to college, you're going to graduate, you're going to get you a nice little job, and you're going to work 40 hours a week for 40 years, you're going to retire, and then most likely, because you're either broke or bored, you're going to go be a greeter at Walmart. And starting at an early age, right around middle school in 6th grade, I started to get that little churning. It was louder and louder. Sports gave me the ability to sort of drown that voice out. It gave me the ability to focus on something besides how much I didn't fit into the norms of society. And so in middle school, I sort of got that voice became louder, that sensation became stronger. And as I progressed into high school, I realized that I couldn't even operate. I had this, I couldn't focus. I couldn't stop thinking about all these ideas. I was bored. Frankly, I was bored, and I wanted to be challenged. And my parents did the best they could with the information that they had. Maybe they could have put me in a school that gave me more obstacles and challenges and like things that I could have done. But the truth is that I really, truly believe, and this will be a reoccurring theme in all of my podcasts and videos, that everything that I've been through, all the negative, all the challenges, all the things that I've endured have prepared me for success. And as I look back at my life, I actually believe and am thankful and grateful for all the challenges, all of the things that didn't go my way, all the things that at that time looked like, oh my God, this poor kid's got so much potential and he's gonna flush it all down the toilet. So in 9th grade, I actually dropped out. And this was the same year that they instituted this 10-day rule that if you miss 10 days of school, then you're automatically suspended or expelled. And of course, it took me about 15 days to miss 10 days of school because I was skipping school and couldn't make it to class. And hell, I had a hard time getting out of bed. So, there was obviously some alternative issues that were going on with me. But at the end of the day, I just felt completely out of place. And so for me, I got involved with the wrong crowds, doing the wrong things. But more than anything, what I did was with those wrong crowds and doing those wrong things, I began my hustle. Okay, I began what became this lifelong, this desire to hustle and to make stuff happen. And so over the course of the last, or the next couple of years, that's what I did. In between that time, I had my daughter when I was 16. I developed a drug addiction, which in the midst of all of this hustle and this this mischief and this need for me to step out of the confinements of what society had created for me, I actually did develop a pretty crippling drug addiction, which left me in 2008 inside of a bathroom, okay, hunched over a toilet, completely broken, completely hopeless, completely broke financially, with absolutely no idea where I was going to go next. And my life had boiled down to, one hit and a spoon. I was an IV drug user, and I had nothing, and I had lost myself. And I made a decision in that bathroom that day on February 3rd of 2008 that I was not going to live like that anymore. I didn't know how I was going to live. I didn't know what my future looked like. I didn't know anything except that I was absolutely sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I made a decision, looked in the mirror, and said, never again. And since that day, on February 3rd of 2008, I have been completely clean and sober, nights, weekends, holidays, and it's been the greatest gift that I've ever got. When I got clean, that same burning sensation that I had when I was in school started to creep up again. That same just inside of my gut, I knew that there was something more for me. I knew that there was something different. I knew that this box that I was beginning to live in once again, because again, coming off of being homeless and addicted and having a life that was completely, had boiled down to one hit left in a spoon, the ideal thing that I needed to do was, get back on my feet, get a job, get an apartment, get some clothes on my back, get a couple of dollars in my bank account, which led me, and I'm very grateful for this, to work in construction with my dad. And I live in Florida, my God, the hottest state in the world. And I would be swinging a hammer on the construction site, sweating my ass off every single day, daydreaming, fantasizing about what did I want to do when I grow up? What was my purpose in life? What was the meaning of all of these things that I had been through? Why did I walk and struggle and crawl to this point to be on this construction site? Why? And I couldn't stop asking myself that question. Why? What does this all mean? What's next for me? Is this it? And I've heard a lot of people who have talked about having those similar feelings, whether they're sitting in a cubicle or working as a grocery store clerk or even making six figures at a corporate job. People who have this burning desire to want to do something different, this burning desire to take the experiences and the knowledge and the wisdom that they've developed and packaged together inside of their head and heart over the years, and go out and share it with the world and make a difference. However, my journey just looked like I was on a construction site. And from the outside looking in, I just looked like a confused kid. I mean, my entire life, I was labeled as lifetime loser. But I was told that something was wrong with me. I remember working a telemarketing job, and I was the best salesman. Okay, I was the top guy. I was closing people left and right, rewriting scripts. The managers were coming to me and saying, hey, can you train the rest of the squad here, because what you're doing is obviously working. And I was fired from that because I couldn't show up on time. And so for me, I had developed over the years all of this shame, all of this guilt, what the hell's wrong with me? Why did I drop out of high school? Why did I hang out with the wrong crowds? Why do I feel so out of place? And even when I think I'm doing good, I'm failing at jobs. And it brought me to this place. Once again, here I am getting back on my feet after being homeless and broken for so long. I'm swinging this hammer on this construction site saying, what's next? And so my journey, which I did not even know what the word entrepreneur meant, started when a woman came up to me and invited me over to her house for a business opportunity. And although now I'm completely retired from network marketing, that's where I got started. And I went into a home business meeting. I had no idea. I was coming over in my Sunday best. She said, hey, dude, you look like a sharp guy. And I said, wow, it's about time somebody noticed this, right? And so I went over to her house and I got pitched an opportunity. Most people would have said, whoa, this is a scam. I'm out of here. I can't believe you duped me into coming over to your house for this, opportunity. And I was like, I'm all in. I was like, I'm getting rich in this thing. And I called my mom and asked her to loan me some money to get in this deal. I failed miserably though. The same thing happened when I was actually working construction with my dad. A guy named John came up to me and he would not leave me alone. And my dad was like, which my dad is not really an entrepreneur. He was like, John, leave us alone. He was a previous customer that we had done some work for down the street. He kept stopping by every single day. You guys got to take a look at this. It was another business opportunity. And I just fell head over heels. Again, though, I didn't know that I had this urge, this desire, this dream, this need for entrepreneurialism in my life. I knew that I wanted to break out of the confinements of what the mold of society had me destined to live in, but I didn't know what the word entrepreneurialism really meant. I didn't know what the journey looked like. I just had this vision in my head and heart that I want to travel the world. I want to have as much money as I need. I want to be able to spend as much time as I want with my family. And I want to be able to do what I want, when I want, where I want, with who I want, on my terms, not somebody else's. I want to build my dream, not yours. We can collaborate, but I have a dream and a message and a vision, and I wanted to live that out. And so I made a big, scary leap back in 2009 to sell my truck that I loved. It was this beater. It was an old 1990 Ford F-150 that I drove around. I bought it because I was going to branch out from my dad and go and start my own construction company. And I knew that I needed a truck. Okay, so I bought this truck. I had to start it with a screwdriver, actually pop the hood. And I'm not a mechanic, but there's a thing called a solenoid. You touch the screwdriver to the solenoid, sparks flew everywhere. It was like a damn 4th of July fireworks show every time I had to leave. And I sold that truck because I wanted to use the money to go full-time as an entrepreneur. I made the decision. I stepped over the stage of being curious to serious. Because up until that stage, I was just curious. I was just a dreamer. All of the ideas and the visions that I had in my head and heart weren't reality. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I didn't know the decisions and the sacrifices that I was going to have to make over the next 6 years to do what I ended up doing. And everything I'd done up until that point was all failures. I'd bit off more than I could chew. I promised things that I couldn't deliver on. I had no idea how to sell, to market, to communicate to people. I mean, not only did I not know anything about sales, marketing, or entrepreneurialism, I also had all of these other experiences in my life that had left me sort of socially crippled. So recording a podcast or getting in front of a video for me was a miserable, excruciating thing. My wife would hold the camera when I would try to shoot videos, and we would have a date that night, and we would start at 8 p.m. and still be shooting videos, the same video that I was trying to shoot at 10 p.m. because every time I messed up, I wanted to redo it over and over again. And I'm literally surprised she didn't strangle me or leave me because I didn't know how to communicate. There were so many things that I didn't understand. And all of those things were absolutely good reasons for me to quit. And quite frankly, any sane man or woman that had all those struggles would have quit. Okay, it was the rational thing to do. The rational thing, the reasonable thing for me to do, even to this day, is to go and get like a nice, safe job and just do what society has sort of laid out for me. I've learned the hard way that being an entrepreneur is not about doing the rational or reasonable thing. It's not about taking no risk. It's not about doing what everybody else thinks I should do or tells me to do. It's about following my freaking heart. It's about taking the risk, working the longer hours, getting up earlier, getting motivated when nobody else is motivated around me. It's about being inspired from I don't know where, somewhere deep inside in my freaking belly when nobody else around me is inspired, when everybody is criticizing me and laughing at me and saying, dude, another scam or here we go again. That's what being an entrepreneur is all about. But when I first started, what I realized or what I thought was that I was just going to be able to get in, And if I dedicated some time and maybe invested a little money, and maybe I would be able to find an easy button and I could push it, and then everything would just work out, and in a year I'd be living in a 10,000 square foot mansion, traveling the world, doing whatever I wanted. And that wasn't the case. All of those failures that I went through, though, over the course of the time that I got clean in 2008 leading up to today, all of those failures and the ones that happened before that, though, are absolutely good reasons for me to either quit or keep going. And I believe that at the heart of a true entrepreneur, the real asset, the real difference maker for us is that we find a way to use that stuff as motivation. We find a way to become motivated when nobody else is motivated. We have the self-starterness, that motivation, that inspiration to get up earlier than everybody else and stay up later. Because for us, there's this blurred line between me actually working and having fun. My goal in life and what I believe that I live today, this day, is that when you see me, you actually don't know if I'm working and playing. Because for me, entrepreneurship is about just that. The reason why I work so much, the reason why I've stopped trying to take the easy way is because I realize that I love what I'm doing. I also realize that there's a lot of BS, and there's a lot of myths, and there's a lot of lies, and there's a lot of unrealistic pictures that are being painted for people, and they end up either going in too far and realizing that entrepreneurship is actually not for them, or they come into the whole process with unbelievably unrealistic expectations, and then 5 years later, they go, oh, wow, crap. I wish I would have known that I was going to have to work this hard back then, because I would have just put in the work, because it's been the most fulfilling thing that I've ever done. So on this podcast, what my mission, what my goal is for those of you who are going to choose to take this journey with me, because it will be a journey. Right? This will be a process of you taking a peek inside of the window of somebody who's built 3 multi-million-dollar businesses with a total of $160 million in sales. Somebody who realizes that all of the things that I've failed and struggled, and all of the challenges, all the reasons that not only I had, but also everybody gave me, people sold me for years on stopping, on just going and getting a job. They sold me for years that, dude, what you're doing is like totally irrational and unrealistic. Like, you putting out $5,000 or $10,000 to start up a company is just insane when it's all you got left. And something inside of me, call me the weird one, call me the one who has no senses, an empty brain, more heart than talent, I don't know. But something has kept driving me, right? Something has allowed me and motivated me to pick myself up off of the freaking ground when I have gotten punched and kicked and had devastating pitfall and mistake after mistake. And what this journey over the course of the next several months or years that you choose to take with me on this podcast is going to be a journey of exploration and truth. It's going to be a journey of having a real look inside of what it really takes, of authenticity and transparency. It's going to be you making a decision whether you're curious or whether you're serious about being an entrepreneur. And either one is okay. But what I'm going to be talking about is things that nobody else is talking about. And what's different about this podcast is that not only are you going to hear from me, whether it be direct to camera, direct to audio, but I'm also going to bring you behind the scenes in later episodes and events and workshops that I do for people that have paid upwards of $25,000 to be there, because I want to, whether I have the opportunity to have you in a live environment or not, because ultimately that's my goal. Ultimately, my goal is to serve you and pour so much into you on this podcast that you do choose to take that big, powerful leap and make that powerful decision to come and join what will and is already being created as a elite society of entrepreneurs inside of the legendary entrepreneur community who are choosing to do the hard work, who are choosing to tell the truth, who are choosing to be honest, to be raw, to tell it like it is, to share their ideas about what's really working, but who are not choosing to believe that this is going to be about holding hands, eating cotton candy, and running through a field of flowers, and that when you sign up today, you're going to be rich tomorrow, because my God, that has devastated more people and hurt more families than probably, anything inside of the business world. So my commitment, my absolute devotion to you is to take you on the journey behind the scenes and to teach you and train you and prepare you for what you're going to experience and run into out in the real world of entrepreneurship, what you're destined to run into, the challenges, the defeats, the failures, but also how to make quick work of some of these problems that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with for years or decades. I see some people who are 50 and 60 who have been doing the same thing for 20 years trying to get a business off the ground, and it's just been a small 2mm tweak that they could have made 20 years ago that have made all the difference. So thank you for joining us on this inaugural episode of the Legendary Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm grateful, I'm humbled, and I'm excited for the future episodes. Remember, these first episodes are going to be a mini masterclass, okay? So you're actually going to have the ability to go over to the website, which you can find at legendarypodcast.com. And not only are you going to have access to the video, you're also going to have access to, obviously, the audio, okay, which you can also find on iTunes. And we're going to have some cool bonuses via PDF downloads, blueprints, and infographics that will help sort of put all the pieces of this first episode together for you. Here's what I want to leave you with, is really the question of what stage of this process are you in. In episode 2, I'm going to be talking about how to create a story that inspires you and motivates others. Like literally how to take all your life experiences, all of the challenges, all of the hardships, all the things that have happened to you, and not only change the way that you see them so you realize they happen for you, but also how to take them and turn them into inspiration, motivation, and profit via learning how to communicate them powerfully. But here's what you must know, and what I challenge you to ask yourself is really being honest. What stage of the game are you in right now? Are you just curious? Are you curious about being an entrepreneur? Are you dreaming? Are you fantasizing? Are you romancing the idea of what it would be like to have time freedom, financial freedom, all the good stuff that comes with having your own business? Or have you made the leap? Have you taken the action to become serious? Are you in the process of actually building right now? Or are you in the process of scaling and multiplying? Okay? There are many of you who are going to be listening to this who are in that process of scaling and multiplying, to where you have to start thinking differently, outsourcing, learning how to duplicate yourself, because you're in this place to where you literally cannot do everything. And there's going to be bonuses and worksheets, and you can get all that over on the website. Again, that website address is legendarypodcast.com. Last thing. Subscribe, share, and leave us a comment on iTunes here. Really appreciate it. Want your honest feedback, and I'm grateful to have it either way. Again, I want this to be real and vulnerable, and if you're excited as I am about this, leave us a review, leave us a comment, and share it with your friends. This is Dave Sharp. Looking forward to seeing you on episode number 2 of the Legendary Entrepreneur Podcast. I'll talk to you later. Salute. Bye-bye.